All right, so we'll go ahead and get started this morning / afternoon, depending on where you're coming from. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of everyone here at ServiceNow and express our gratitude for you being able to attend this virtual agent. This is the first in our series for Go Pro. My name is Jen Bargel, and I am a solutions consultant here assigned to the Air Force team here at ServiceNow, and I'm actually joined by Blake Morales. Would you like to introduce yourself, Blake?
Yeah, sure. Great. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, so Blake Morales, I'm part of ServiceNow Demo Center. So I'll be walking you through the whole demonstration portion for virtual agents. So just excited to kind of get going. And yeah, thanks, Jen. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blake, and we're super excited to have you on board here helping us through this. So this is just a quick agenda, some of our objectives that we'd like to meet. This is going to be pretty quick so we can allow time for Blake to do that demonstration and then also to answer any questions that you have. Those will be mostly at the end. So, all right, so let's get into it. So federal agencies know that there is a shift in the way that traditional service management has been done. Today, organizations are moving fast and need to keep up, all the while looking for ways to be more effective while increasing efficiency and reducing operating costs, all while providing a great user experience, because at the end of the day, those user experiences help drive our mission. And so that's what agencies are asking for, even more so now that COVID has affected how we do business. So that we can do in current conditions, elevate employee experiences, working from home, utilizing those VPN mechanisms, and continue to establish those efficiencies, all while still keeping the mission going. And Mark, can you go ahead and mute yourself for me? Thank you. All right. So in our ITSM portfolio, as we go into those pro capabilities in this webinar series, we're going to see terms of improvements and what our pro capabilities actually include. Today, we're focusing on that virtual agent that comes as a part of our platform, but we're also going to see how customers are seeing a 50% incident deflection through the virtual agent. We all want great experiences, and here at ServiceNow, we've built our platform on the belief that behind every great experience is a great workflow. We are the platform of platforms focusing on 3 key pillars: IT workflows, employee workflows, and for federal agencies, it's really about mission workflows instead of what we know as App Engine and those customer workflows. All are designed to work across organizations, break down those silos, and integrate with critical systems to work seamlessly to deliver the best experience for end users. ServiceNow is best suited to deliver these outcomes, but you don't have to take our word for it. ServiceNow has been receiving consistent recognition year over year from analysts and publications. ServiceNow has been a Gartner leader 5 years in a row, demonstrating leadership in its vision and its ability to execute. ServiceNow has also been recognized as a leader in the inaugural Forrester Wave for Enterprise Service Management. Many customers of ServiceNow are applying the principles and processes of IT service management to the rest of the enterprise to gain greater value from the ServiceNow portfolio. Again, breaking down those silos. Many businesses than ever are recognizing the value they get from ServiceNow. Each month, over 30 businesses are switching from legacy solutions to ServiceNow. One of the reasons ServiceNow has a strong leadership position in the ITSM space is that we meet customers wherever they are in their service maturity journey, and that is demonstrated by the 98% renewal rate. So these are just some of the ways that ServiceNow can help you drive your digital transformation agenda. Today, we will focus on that lower left-hand corner of the virtual agent capability and modernizing and automating IT. So our first poll, and that's going to be coming up here in a second, is the what is virtual agent? So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to answer. Well, it looks like everybody's interacting. This is awesome. Don't mind my dog in the background. He's just whining. All right. So we've got a pretty good poll here. There's only a couple of people that haven't answered, but everyone has the same answer. And that's an enterprise conversational experience for both employees and customers to resolve common request problems. All right. So we're going to go ahead and continue on. So our employee experience is top of mind for executives. We continue to look at ways for positive employee engagement of services to help maintain employee satisfaction. Self-service to empower employees, digital transformation to stay current, and an omni-channel experience for ease of access. Okay. So virtual agent takes chat to a whole nother level, providing a great experience while automating interactions with natural language will help power chatbots and resolving without human touch. We can kick off workflows to resolve issues in context, get faster time to value with pre-built conversations around IT, customer service, and HR. So you can see this conversation taking place and what's required of the virtual agent. These are all configured and also come out of the box from ServiceNow. So these different roles that come in the virtual agent, so there's a requester, a service owner, and a provider. So that requester has a better and immediate experience being able to request a status, view a status, and have that self-service. The service owner is the person who's defining those services, building experiences, and measuring and optimizing the time to figure out what is it that they can provide better services for. And then the provider is the one who's categorizing, prioritizing, and assigning, and ultimately fulfilling the requirements for that customer. And with ServiceNow, these are just a few of the many pre-built conversations that come with ITSM Pro, HR service delivery, and customer service management. With every release, we continue to grow the library, allowing you to quickly leverage automated responses to your end users. So as we proceed forward with COVID and other disruptions throughout the world, agencies are seeing a spike in employee and customer requests. As a result, there's a need to look into better ways to provide these services. And for a lot of us in federal, in spite of customer service being a priority and agencies investing in it, users are still struggling to get the service they desire and deserve. Users have many journeys within your agencies. So from the time they come on board to promotions or demotions or reporting issues, getting upgrades in laptops, to then the offboarding process, they're looking for those disconnected touch points to be able to now be connected and no longer have siloed systems. They're looking for requests to be completed and no longer incomplete. So through this, we're expanding the capacity via automated self-service, and that's really the virtual agent, those tier 0 and tier 1 requirements. We're able to deliver answers anytime users need them with integrated service portal, the chatbot, so virtual agent, knowledge management, and communities. Helping users get the best answers and information quickly through the community and contextual recommendations drives production and efficiency. Users have had up to 65% of cases being opened through the portal instead of by phone or email. The important part of all of this is to get the right information at the right time to the right people to drive up customer satisfaction and user experience. All right, we're going to have another poll, but I have to drop out of this to go grab that poll for you guys. So hold on one second. Ooh. My apologies. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to answer that question. Which of the out-of-the-box conversations would you launch first? Check IT ticket status, manage distribution list, process approval, or submit a request? I'll give you guys just a minute. I see a lot of people going to answer that. So. All right. About another 30 seconds. Okay, so we've got several different answers in here. I really like that everybody has something else that they would focus on. So right now our group has 48% would submit a request is their number one. Number two is the check IT ticket status, which is huge, being able to follow up. The managed distribution list and process approval are currently in a tie. So thank you guys so much for answering that poll question. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. So we're going to go ahead and continue on to the ServiceNow Natural Language Understanding, so that NLU. And that provides a model builder and an inference service that you can use to enable the system to learn and respond to human expressed intent. So in this example, it's Android email setup. It could be email setup, assistance with email, being able to put those utterances and how normal people would talk to enable the system to work better. So by entering natural language examples into the system, you help it understand word meanings and context so it can infer user or system actions. So let's take a look at this experience between doctor and patient. Each request to reset a Citrix session takes about 15 minutes. Now multiply that by 70 of these calls a day to the service desk, and that's over 17 hours per day manually resetting sessions. I think we all know that we could do something better with our time. So through the automation process in the Virtual Agent Designer, Flow Designer, and Integration Hub with configured and reusable Integration Hub action, customer service and IT agents are able to focus energy on problems needing true human interface actions.
You hear my...
Whoop, sorry.
I asked the question of they're wanting these to, well, one thing is they want.
Okay, I didn't think that was for us. All right, so now we've taken the patient-doctor experience and we've now saved 9,000 hours of time for our agents. So now that's a lot of time for us to be able to move on. And so we're gonna go ahead and let Blake go ahead and show us a demo that's in real time.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jen. So I think there's a couple of things here, right, that is important for us to all level set here before we go into the demonstration. So when we think about virtual agent, right, we're completely agnostic when it comes to your screen of choice. So what does that mean, right? So we can leverage it via service portal, whether it's an iPad related device, any type of user interactions that Jen showed in the Now platform, right? And then from there, what Virtual Agent truly does in a nutshell, right, is it captures certain types of requests and then takes actions based on those requests. And so that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. Jen, if you can, please go ahead and let me know once I'm able to share my screen here. I believe you have to give me access, Jen, to sharing my screen.
Ooh, let me check on that. Hold on. Connie, are you by chance able to assist with that?
Done.
Perfect. And then bottom right-hand ellipsis or, If you can point me in the right direction, Jen, that would be great. I don't see share screen option on the bottom.
You should have the share screen. Let's see. Let me see if I share my screen, if I can send it to you. Let's do that. Okay, you should be able to have, I think, the share. I think I just assigned it to you.
We are having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end here.
Wait, do you have the client version, WebEx, or the web version?
I have the client.
Okay, so if you go to the menu, WebEx, there should be a menu for share at the very top. And you should have a share and then share content.
It's all grayed out for me, James.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not giving me the option to do that.
Jen, do you want to call an audible and pull up an instance?
I will. Hold on one moment.
Cool.
Like, I just made you a host. Do you want to see if that changed anything?
Yeah, so it's grayed out, and then it's just asking me to give it permissions, in which I did, and then it's not allowing me yet. I might have to potentially exit out of the meeting, but I'd rather not do that and just see if Jen could just share a screen, and then I could just, walk through the whole presentation. Obviously not best case scenario, but granted, I want to save some time for Q&A. So
Okay, so we should be able to see my Google Chrome. Is everybody able to see this?
Yeah, can see it.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. Alrighty, so moving on here. So as we keep in mind, right, in the presentation, there's 3 things that I want everyone to keep in their mind, right? So we're trying to reduce service agent workload, and then we're also trying to improve overall service quality. And lastly, we're trying to understand how can we deploy virtual agent within minutes. So what you see in front of you is a live instance, right? So you'll see that we've logged in as Joe employee. On the bottom right-hand corner, you see the virtual agent functionality. And one of the cool things about virtual agent is that we're able to have those natural language understanding conversations between the agent as if it were a live human being on the back end. Now, why is this important? The reason it's important is because a lot of the times we get agents that are spending so much time handling those basic requests. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to utilize incident deflection, as well as being able to filter through those requests that may have or may need a lot more technical aptitude or need of the service desk. In this case, we're going to use a couple examples here. So Jen, why don't we go ahead and say, as an example, having Wi-Fi issues. Let's say that Joe is an employee of your organization. He's having a little bit of issues with regards to his Wi-Fi. What virtual agent is going to say is it's going to start to capture some of those terminologies or terms that Joe is saying with regards to those issues. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you is it's saying that it's having technical issues. Why is it having that? Well, maybe on the back end, we didn't put those key terms, Wi-Fi issues together in a sense. And I'm going to show you how we start to bring those terms together, go back to virtual agent, and then I'll capture that action, kick off that workflow so we can help Joe. Now, in this case, it's asking us an incident deflection question saying, is there anything else that I can assist you with? We're going to go ahead and say no. So Jen, go ahead and click no for me. And on the top right hand, you see that ellipsis right there, or that chat plus functionality. Can you go ahead and click on that? Yep. So we're going to start a new conversation here. We're going to utilize a different example here. So let's say that Joe has a couple of guests coming in today, and he needs to understand what is the Wi-Fi guest password. So let's type in Wi-Fi guest password, and you'll notice that the answers are slightly different depending on the action items that we've suggested on the back end. And again, I'll show you how we can launch those action items very quickly. Okay, let's see here. Jen, do you want to utilize my instance?
Yeah, that sounds great because I know that mine's different than yours.
Yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and send that over to you right now.
Blake, I just gave you control, so you should be able to type in here.
I honestly think, Jen, it's giving me admin issues. I don't know why it is. Maybe I logged in as a guest user. Yeah.
Sorry, folks, for the delay. So what I'll do is, Blake, instead, I'm going to go ahead and kind of run with this. So one of the big things that we see from users when they're submitting tickets, so I see this guest Wi-Fi access. That's what she was talking about before. We didn't enable the word search or the NLU. We didn't add those to the words in the background. And so on the back end, we didn't enable that. So you can see how there's a disconnect with the two systems. So instead, what we could do is we could go into the back end, the virtual agent designer, and we can add those keywords into the virtual agent. And so then when we start to type in our own words for the NLU, we now have the ability to see this guest Wi-Fi. But this is what's important, and that's what Blake was talking about, is being able to provide that customer service to those guests that are coming to us. So now it's verifying whether or not the people who were attending with you were able to connect successfully. And we're going to say, yes, they were able to connect. So now they're asking, is there anything else I can assist you with? Well, maybe that wasn't the only issue that we had arise. You know, they might be able to access, but maybe there's something else that's important to me that doesn't relate to that. If I'm a new user utilizing the virtual agent, I may not know everything that is available to me. So what I can do is come in here and I can see all of these options based off of the roles that have been given to me. I'm able to see everything that's in here, to include a live agent support. And as an agency, a federal agency, you have the ability to connect your telephone system into your ServiceNow instance. And so being able to utilize that, that's an awesome feature that ties into here. And then we also have like new hire orientation or new account onboarding. Maybe I'm a manager trying to assist with that. And then there's an open IT ticket or order an item. So I'm going to go ahead and order an item today. So I'm looking for a laptop. So while I'm looking for this laptop, it's going to take that keyword. And so I can now sort through, okay, well, maybe a new laptop request. Maybe I'm a developer and need that Mac, or maybe I just need some accessories that go with that. Or maybe there's a sales laptop. I'm a Mac girl, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose my Mac. And so I've now chosen this, and it's going to deflect me to ordering an item. So it's going to take me to a new window, and I'm able to actually go into the service catalog and fill in the information. So now I am being redirected to where I need to go in order to get the business done. And so those are some easy ways to deflect the customer service aspect. And the other big thing too is being able to check on a ticket status. As many of you noted in the poll, that is something that you guys would actually like to have done. So this is something that's intuitive to ServiceNow. It comes native out of the box. So being able to check a ticket status that somebody has submitted, I want to see, it's telling me based off of my user role that I have 2 open incidents and 6 requested items. I'm looking for an incident because I submitted something not being able to, the USB port on my PC has stopped working. That's why I went to go order a Mac. And it's giving me the information on what's going on with my incident, as well as the state and who it's assigned to. Now, if I wanted to, I could easily add a comment and say, yes, I want to add a comment. And I'm going to say, I no longer need this incident resolved, getting new computer instead. Because as we all know, in the federal industry, we don't solve little problems, we solve the big ones, right? Getting new computer instead. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that information. Now that comment is going to be loaded in my ITSM incident ticket. And so that updates the incident and allows the agent to be able to deflect the work and be able to go focus on something else a little bit more important. I know that we kind of went through a lot of that very quickly. And I know Blake is really the expert when it comes to the demo. And what I'd like to do is now open it up for some Q&A in order to be able to answer those questions that you guys may have. Oh, Blake can now share her screen. So let's go ahead and work through that because she's got a better demo than I do.
And if you guys have questions, feel free to use the chat as well, and we'll be happy to take those questions, whether you want to come off mute or throw them in the chat. We're happy to answer them.
Okay. All right. So James or Jen or Connie, am I sharing my screen here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So thanks everyone. You know, I know working from home and having technical difficulties and issues, right? We're in a different era when we're in a different time. So I appreciate your patience. Jen, I think you did a phenomenal job showing the chatbot functionality, the virtual agent, but I think it's also important to talk a little bit on the back end of what we actually do with regards to those 40 out of the box topics that Jen showcased in the presentation. So this is what you call virtual agent designer. When you think about virtual agent designer, these are the types of conversations that you have based on category within your organization. So in this case, we have out of the box conversations for customer service, HR, ITSM, any setup topics, or even small talk topics that you want to have launched very quickly. Now, because this is all out of the box, you don't need to learn how to write code in order to set them up. Each card has the ability to activate or disable any of those conversations that you may want to have. When we look at the user interactions capabilities, right? So when we think about the Now platform as a whole, we have the ability to put in virtual agent within Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Workplace by Facebook. So here at ServiceNow, we actually drink our own Kool-Aid. We not only have the virtual agent within our own service portal, but we also utilize virtual agent within our Slack channel today. So in this case, as a quick example, I'm reaching out to the virtual agent, simply saying hello, having that natural conversation as if you were with a live agent. And what you'll notice is at the bottom, it's saying, hey, Blake, please make a selection based on what you're looking to do today. Very similar functionality from the out-of-the-box topics that Jen walked you through on the front end. But in this case, we're pushing virtual agent on those user interaction interfaces where you'll have maybe some users who aren't necessarily at their desktop, maybe they're at lunch, etc. They want to be able to access VA through these multiple avenues. Again, a great way to also alleviate some of those challenges that I know a lot of our customers face when they're trying to launch something new. All right, so moving on here, when we talk about the ServiceNow Studio, think about ServiceNow Studio as a way to capture some of those intense entities and vocabularies based on what the users are submitting. So remember that first example when I said, hey, what is the Wi-Fi access? Even though virtual agent wasn't able to answer that question, it is going to capture that question in the intents column here. And it's going to say, hey, we got a lot of our users within the organization saying need Wi-Fi access. In this example, you're seeing that there's 37 users that used up walk-up check-in. Maybe we should launch a category or a topic based on walk-up check-in or VPN connectivity, etc. The point here is it starts to capture all those entry points, right? All those conversations that we're having, and it puts it into entities. Entities are basically system definitions on what the virtual agent thinks that the user wants to take action on. So in this case, we can simply upload, so we can import entities or import topics or certain types of keywords that we want to have answered for the user, or we can simply capture prehistorical information that we've seen certain individuals within your organizations having conversations with VA. All of that lives here. Last but not least, in the vocabulary section, this is where you start to really drill in and filter in on what's your business vocabulary that you guys are using today, right? At ServiceNow, we have our own book of company vocabulary that we utilize day in and day out. How can we make virtual agent capture that information, understand what we're trying to say, etc.? That's where it all lives. All right, so very quickly, let's take an example with the virtual agent designer. We're going to go very quickly and we're going to go into ITSM fulfiller. We're going to drill into one of these cards here. And what I want to show you very quickly is, let's see here, view topic flow. And what view topic flow is essentially showing you is it's showing you the flow of the conversation. So I'm going to try and zoom in here just to give you an idea of what that conversation looks like. All right. Okay, so on the left-hand side, what you see is user inputs, bot responses, and utilities. When we think about the topic flow, this is what we would expect the user to ask us, and then what are the actions that we want the virtual agent to take. Now, we don't need to learn how to write code in order to submit those actions, right? So in this case, if we wanted to import a text function to tell the chatbot, hey, can you respond in this way? All we have to do is use drag and drop functionality and pull that into the topic flow. and we're able to type in what response we're looking to get based on what the question is being asked by the user. In the bot response section, we're also able to answer the questions via images, links, script outputs, and specific cards directing the users to where they need to go. A great example of a card is Jen example when it showed you the different types of laptops that the user can select from. You can simply drag and drop that into the workflow without needing to write code to create that response for the user. All right, so last but not least here, we're gonna go into the dashboard functionality. In the dashboard functionality within Virtual Agent, we have many out-of-the-box dashboards that gives you KPIs related to how successful the launch of Virtual Agent is with regards to the conversations that you're having. So on the top, you can see daily number of conversations, followed by how many have been faulted. In other words, how many didn't go through and we weren't able to assist the individual as best as we could. What are the topics that we're having? Why is this important, right? Because then we're able to cater and configure those answers based on the topics that are highly popular within your organization. So in this case, you'll notice guest Wi-Fi access is the most popular weekly topic today. Let's see if we can modify or configure that conversation a little bit better so that it's more seamless and natural. All right, so with that being said, here's what we covered today, right? And I just want to level set here. So first we've covered the flow designer, right? The virtual agent, where we're able to collaborate and understand what out-of-the-box conversations we can have by category. Then I showed you how quickly it is for us to launch Virtual Agent, not only on your service portal, but also on different user interfaces such as Slack, Microsoft Teams, and then Workplace by Facebook. And then last but not least, I was able to show you what that workflow looks like, how we start to create actions, right? What that topic flow looks like. In other words, what is that decision tree that we want the virtual agent to take? And then last but not, yep.
Okay. So Minecraft.
And then last but not least, showed you the dashboard where we're able to showcase some of those key performance indicators with regards to Virtual Agent. All right, Jen, so I'm going to kick it back to you just to do a quick recap on that last slide.
Awesome. Let me get that back up here for us. I will share my screen. Okay, and let us get back into full presentation mode. All right, so it's all yours again, Blake, to cover this slide real quick.
All right, perfect. So really there's three things that I think everyone on the call should keep in mind as we take away here. What Virtual Agent does, it enables self-service, right? So instead of overworking your IT technicians, your service desk, it's relieving that workload. It's enabling that chatbot functionality to answer those questions that you may get day in and day out that you wish you didn't spend so much time answering, right? By utilizing natural language understanding, automation, and AI to do that. The second part here is meeting users where they are. We understood very quickly that we needed to build Virtual Agent, keeping our customers in mind. We understand that a lot of users don't have their laptops, don't have their desktops, right? Being able to access it, whether it's via Slack, Facebook, on your phone, right? How can we utilize VA in a multitude of ways? And then last but not least, build a smarter service desk device. So even if Virtual Agent isn't able to answer that request, it's still going to capture all those key terms in one single place for us to go back and say, hey, we've seen that there's 37 individuals that are asking us the same question. Let's go kick off a workflow that Virtual Agent can go ahead and answer that question for us. So we're constantly getting smarter. we're constantly getting better, and we're trying to generally relieve that workload. With that being said, I pass this off to Jen. Thank you so much again for your patience in helping us, with these technical issues that we were having in the beginning. But I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Blake, for that demo and kind of going back into that. I'm going to reshare my video so you guys can see me again. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue on. So these are just some next steps, and everyone who's attending this webinar is going to get an email afterwards with links to join the community. So that's one of those ways to get things answered, figure out when events like this are going on. We had our Knowledge 2020 this last summer. So being able to access those resources, that's joining that community. And you'll get a link in the email for that. There's downloading the ebook, so the best practices and how to have those experiences, things to kind of work through. So that ebook will also be there. Following the checklist, so things to do as you're implementing the virtual agent checklist. There's some prereqs that go in there. There's defining what you want from your agency, and then assessing readiness and continuing on through all of that. So again, that's going to be in there as well. If you are not currently a customer testing this out, we invite you to a developer instance or a sub-production instance for you to be able to work through kind of the touch and feel of what you're looking for. And so we invite you to check that out as well. And then you're going to, like I said before, you're going to receive an email with the links to the resources. And then if you found value from today's sessions, we have 4 other sessions that are going to be happening. And so the next one is actually on predictive intelligence. And that's on October 21st, again, same time, 1 to 2 p.m. And so there's also these other 3 that we'll be going through. And so now we're going to go into the Q&A, and I see some chats, some questions. And so what I love to do is kind of go back and answer some of these. And so the first one we'll answer is from Morgan. And so she's asking, or I'm assuming you're a female, my apologies. Is this agent plugin included with federal subscriptions, or do we need to contact sales? And same for Teams or Slack plugins. And this is, from my perspective, virtual agent is offered on our platform, and anyone who has purchased to include federal has virtual agent at their fingertips. It's just a plugin that you need to activate. The live agent is a little bit different, and I think there's some requirements that need to be met before you can do that. James, do you happen to know a little bit more on that?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. So if the plugin's there, you should be able to work it, because as long as you're on the latest FedRAMP release of our platform, you should have access to this. If you'd like to, I'm going to throw my email in the chat window right now. And if you can flip me a note, like an email, let me know what agency you're with, and then I'll make sure you're connected to the technical solution consultant that can help you, Morgan.
All right, fantastic. I think we answered that question. And so we have another question around, is automated ticket routing capability included in this virtual agent offering?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's kind of the purpose around when you look at, a lot of our existing clients that had our legacy ITSM product component, that these components that we're introducing in this first of 5 webinar series is kind of geared towards moving you towards this notion of having the virtual agent that can help promote the idea of ticket routing on the back end with our ITSM components. So the whole goal of this is really to kind of promote reasons why we move towards this professional version of ITSM. So it is a capability included as part of our Pro Edition.
All right. Thank you so much, James and Blake, for that. Now, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to come off a mute to ask them, or to go ahead and ask them in the chat.
Hey, Blake, would you mind putting the inbox out there for any questions that people might have post meeting that they can socialize back, and then we can.
Sure.
Cool. So for those of you on the chat, in the event you have questions and you're thinking about things, feel free to reach out. I think Blake is going to float out an email, the demo center at ServiceNow. Feel free to throw your questions over there. We'll be happy to answer them. Anything post meeting, anything that you thought of, maybe didn't want to ask today, but you wanted to at least have a conversation, and we'll be happy to answer them and engage.
All right. Doesn't look like we have too many questions coming across. Maybe we did a really good job explaining it today. So thank you guys so much for your time today. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 12 minutes back in your day, because we all know federal agencies, we're super busy. So with that, unless you have another question, we'll hang out here for a couple minutes, but we'll stop the recording and then we'll answer that. Thank you.